Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how some people work just as hard as you? Sometimes harder. Yet somehow, they always seem calm when money gets tight. They don't panic. They don't rush. They don't complain. While others are drowning, they're steady. Not because they're lucky. Not because they were born rich. But because they learned something most people never do. You see, most people spend their entire lives chasing money, running after it like it's a finish line. But wealth doesn't live at the end of the road. Wealth lives in the mind. And today, I'm going to tell you a story. Not a fairy tale. A real-life truth about why 97% stay stuck. And how the 3% break free. This is not just a video. This is a conversation that can change how you think forever. And if you're watching this on Historic Official, understand this. You're not here by accident. Stay with me. Poverty doesn't begin in your wallet. It begins in your thinking. Long before someone is broke financially, they are broke mentally. They believe money is evil. They believe wealth is for other people. They believe struggle is noble. And beliefs shape behavior. The 97% don't fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they keep repeating the same mental story. Meanwhile, the 3% tell themselves a different story. They say, I am responsible. I can learn. I can grow. That's where wealth begins. I remember a time in my life. Small table. Few dollars. Too many bills. And an older man looked at me and said, Son, if you don't pay yourself first, you'll spend your whole life paying everyone else. That moment changed everything. Most people get paid. Then they pay rent. Then food. Then entertainment. Then excuses. And when nothing's left, they say, I'll save next month. The wealthy do the opposite. They take their future first. 10%. 15%. Sometimes more. Not because they have extra money, but because they have extra discipline. Wealth doesn't respond to income. It responds to habits. Most people like to believe they spend money logically. But the truth is uncomfortable. Money decisions are usually emotional decisions. When stress hits, people shop. When boredom creeps in, they eat out. When sadness shows up, they buy things they don't need. Not because they plan to, but because it feels good in the moment. That quick purchase gives temporary relief. A short burst of comfort. A distraction from life. But relief is expensive. Because when the emotion fades, the bill remains. This is where most people get trapped. They're not broke because they don't earn. They're broke because they use money as therapy. And money is terrible therapy. The question that changes everything. The 3% live by a different rule. Before they spend, they pause. They breathe. And they ask one dangerous question. Will this bring me closer to freedom? Or farther from it? That single question changes behavior. Because now spending has consequences. Now money has a mission. The wealthy don't buy things to feel better. They buy things to be better. They don't purchase comfort. They purchase control. Relief versus results. Emotional spending buys relief. Intentional spending buys results. Relief fades fast. Results compound. A fancy dinner is gone by tomorrow. An investment works for you for years. A new gadget impresses people briefly. Financial discipline builds freedom permanently. The 97% chase feelings. The 3% chase outcomes. That's the difference. Intentional living is power. Intentional living doesn't mean never enjoying life. It means you decide, not your emotions. You don't let stress run your wallet. You don't let boredom drain your future. You don't let sadness sabotage your destiny. You spend on purpose, with vision, with discipline. Every dollar becomes a vote for the life you want. The real truth. Wealth isn't built by earning more. It's built by thinking differently before spending. The moment you stop asking, how will this make me feel right now? And start asking, how will this affect my future? You step out of the 97%. That's when money stops controlling you, and you start controlling money. The 3% ask a dangerous question before they spend. Will this bring me closer to freedom or farther from it? That question alone separates the broke from the wealthy. They don't buy relief. They buy results. Most people don't actually know where their money goes. They think they do, but they don't. They guess. They hope. They assume things will work out. But hope doesn't pay bills. And guessing doesn't build wealth. This chapter teaches a fundamental rule of success. You cannot control what you refuse to confront. The 97% avoid looking at their numbers because it makes them uncomfortable. They say things like, I don't want to obsess over money. I'll figure it out later. But avoidance is expensive. The 3% choose clarity instead. They track every dollar, not because they're cheap, but because clarity equals control. When you see your spending in black and white, something powerful happens. Waste becomes obvious. Bad habits lose their excuses. Better decisions become natural. Awareness changes behavior without force. Tracking money isn't about restriction. It's about freedom through truth. This chapter teaches that wealth doesn't begin with more income. It begins with seeing reality clearly. Because once you know where your money is going, you finally get to decide where your life is going. This chapter addresses one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck financially. Most people don't actually know where their money goes. They think they do, but they don't. They guess. They hope. They assume things will work out. But hope doesn't pay bills. And guessing doesn't build wealth. This chapter teaches a fundamental rule of success. You cannot control what you refuse to confront. The 97% avoid looking at their numbers because it makes them uncomfortable. They say things like, I don't want to obsess over money. I'll figure it out later. But avoidance is expensive. The 3% choose clarity instead. They track every dollar, not because they're cheap, but because clarity equals control. When you see your spending in black and white, something powerful happens. Waste becomes obvious. Bad habits lose their excuses. Better decisions become natural. Awareness changes behavior without force. Tracking money isn't about restriction. It's about freedom through truth. This chapter teaches that wealth doesn't begin with more income. It begins with seeing reality clearly. Because once you know where your money is going, you finally get to decide where your life is going. Let me break a myth. Hard work alone won't make you rich. People don't get paid for effort. They get paid for value. Anyone can work long hours. Few people work on becoming valuable. The wealthy invest in communication, leadership, sales, financial intelligence. Money follows value like a shadow follows the body. Stop asking, how many hours should I work? Start asking, what skill can I master? Motivation is emotional, and emotions are unreliable. Some days you feel disciplined. Some days you feel tired. Some days life hits hard. The 97% rely on willpower, and willpower eventually breaks. The 3% rely on systems, and systems don't care how you feel. That's the secret. They automate success. Automatic savings before money touches their hands. Automatic investing before temptation shows up. Automatic tracking, so nothing slips by unnoticed. They remove emotion from money. They don't wake up asking, do I feel like building wealth today? They already decided yesterday. That's why their success looks effortless. Not because they're smarter, not because they're luckier, but because the system is doing the work even when motivation disappears. Motivation starts journeys. Systems finish them. When you design your life so the right actions happen automatically, discipline becomes optional and results become inevitable. This is how the 3% win. Not by trying harder, but by designing smarter. Emphasizes a powerful truth about creating lasting wealth. It's not the grand gestures or one-time windfalls that make someone wealthy, but the small, consistent actions taken over time. Small daily habits matter. Reading 10 pages a day may seem minor, but it compounds knowledge over time. Knowledge compounds like money. It grows and multiplies. Making one investment every paycheck reinforces discipline and ensures money is consistently working for you rather than just being spent. Cutting one unnecessary expense each week is a small step that gradually frees up resources for more important wealth-building purposes. Consistency over intensity. Wealth isn't about huge, rare actions. It's about ordinary actions done extraordinarily well and repeated consistently. These daily choices, though seemingly insignificant, compound into major results over months and years. Ordinary people, extraordinary results. The chapter shows that you don't need to be extraordinary to build extraordinary wealth. It's the quiet, disciplined routines that separate the financially free from the average. Key takeaway. Wealth is not made in flashy one-time events. It is built in the small, consistent, intentional choices you make every day. Over time, these quiet moments lead to extraordinary financial freedom. Focuses on a critical principle that separates the financially free, the 3%, from the majority, the 97%. Relying on a single source of income is risky, while multiple income streams create stability and freedom. The risk of one income source. Most people depend solely on their paycheck. If the job is lost, hours cut, or the economy shifts, they're left vulnerable. This is like standing on one leg in a storm, unstable and dangerous. Building multiple legs of income. Think of your income like a table. The more legs it has, the steadier it stands. Typical legs include job income, investments, side businesses, passive income, royalties, online ventures, rental income, etc. Start all at once, begin with what's possible, and grow gradually. The benefits of diversification. Multiple income streams protect against setbacks. If one leg falters, the others keep you afloat. It also gives freedom of choice, meaning you're not forced to make decisions out of desperation. Side hustles are education. 2. Even small ventures teach entrepreneurship, discipline, and creativity. They help you create value independently from your primary job. Key takeaway. Wealth is not just about earning more. It's about building a foundation strong enough to withstand life's uncertainties. By creating multiple streams of income, you gain stability, freedom, and control over your financial destiny. Highlights the crucial difference between learning to earn a living and learning to build lasting wealth. Formal education teaches you to earn. Schools and universities mainly prepare people for jobs. They focus on grades, degrees, and technical skills that allow you to make a living, but not necessarily create a fortune. Self-education teaches you to build wealth. The wealthy invest time in learning beyond the classroom. This includes studying money, entrepreneurship, investing, leadership, and personal growth. Knowledge gained through self-education compounds over time, just like investments. Your mind is your most valuable asset. Feeding your mind with principles, strategies, and success habits shapes your financial decisions. If you plant weeds, distractions, negativity, useless habits, you'll harvest struggles. If you plant seeds, knowledge, discipline, strategy, you'll harvest growth and wealth. Consistency over intensity. Even dedicating 10 minutes a day to learning about money can transform your mindset over time. Small, consistent learning habits compound into powerful knowledge and better decisions. Key takeaway: wealth begins in the mind. Formal education may get you a paycheck, but self-education builds financial freedom. To join the 3%, commit to learning every day, feeding your mind with knowledge that empowers your financial journey. Emphasizes the critical difference between wishing for wealth and strategically achieving it. Dreams alone are not enough. Clarity, planning, and action turn dreams into reality. Dreams are just the starting point. A dream is a vision of what you want, but without structure, it remains abstract. Most people dream of financial freedom, but never map out the steps to reach it. The power of specific goals. Writing down clear, detailed goals with deadlines transforms vague aspirations into actionable plans. Instead of hoping for wealth, you know exactly what you want and by when. This focus directs your daily actions and decisions toward achieving those goals. Connecting goals to purpose. Goals tied to deeper reasons: freedom, family, legacy, ignite motivation. When challenges arise, a meaningful why keeps you moving forward. Breaking goals into manageable steps. Large goals can be overwhelming. The 3% break them into daily, weekly, and monthly actions. Invest a little more this week. Learn a new skill today. Cut an unnecessary expense tomorrow. Small, consistent actions build momentum toward your bigger vision. Visualization and daily reminders. Reminding yourself of your goals every morning aligns your mindset with your purpose. This habit ensures that your daily actions are intentional, not random. Key takeaway: dreams become reality only when paired with specific goals, actionable steps, and deadlines. Clarity turns intention into action, potential into progress, and hope into measurable results.